What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 286, and the NFL regular season has wrapped. Only two head coaches have been fired so far. I thought there'd be more than two.
After the season's over.
Parted ways is the technical
there was
term.
Coaches fired during the season, so it's more than two in total.
Yes, we have four openings currently in terms of NFL. Five openings.
I believe it's five. Should be five, right?
Patriots and what else just opened
Patriots,
today?
Jets, Saints,
Raiders
Jaguars.
has not opened.
Well, now I'm off. Now you just threw me off. I was about to get to that last one. Hold on. You gotta. The brain's got to work. All right. Hold on. Today was just Patriots and Jags. Okay.
Yes.
Now we also have the Saints.
We
have the Jets.
I forgot about the Saints. Yeah.
We have the Jets, and then the last one was
Bears.
Thank you.
I forgot about the Saints. But in other news, in terms of our national pastime, Dodgers kind of making some slight moves, signing a 25-year-old Korean middle infielder. I'm going to butcher this. Hyeseong Kim. We're going to refer to him as Kim. For the rest of this podcast. Kim signed.
Hi, Kim? Just Kim.
We're just going to go with Kim for now. No confirmation. I tried to find a pronunciation online.
You couldn't do it that far.
I just found videos like in Japanese. I'm like,
isn't he Korean?
In Korean. And I was just like, don't.
Yeah, I mean the one thing
understand this.
when I first saw that, like I feel like people aren't saying much about that signing, but like if you look into it, like that guy was a Gold Glove winner multiple times in the Korean baseball.
Yeah, so I think I have this correct.
He's been a good player.
He's the only baseball player in KBO history to win a Gold Glove at shortstop and second base. There have been multiple position Gold Glove winners, but not at short and second. I did some slight, quick dig deeping on him. Much better second baseman than shortstop. I would go so far to say
I thought you were going to say much better second baseman than Gavin Lux. I was like, that makes sense.
But he's a much better second baseman than shortstop. That is true. I would go so far to say I'm not sure if he's capable of playing shortstop at the MLB level. He was putting up like a .930 fielding percentage. Not what you want to see.
Yeah, I don't know if you want
second,
that.
Though, very good. Elite. No problems there. Also, plus base running, averaging anywhere from 20 to 30 steals a year. And very high contact, solid walks. Not the biggest power guy, but hey, I don't know if there's a second baseman who you rely to hit home runs in the MLB today, so it's okay.
Mookie, technically, but
by nature, sure.
By nature, yeah.
But you get what I mean.
Here's just my thing. So when I saw that, obviously, there's a whole question about where Mookie's going to play, if Gavin Lux is going to be around, all that kind of stuff, right? When I saw that, the next thing that I saw was, okay, maybe he's signing as being the like ultimate utility guy, and that immediately made me think that Kike is not coming. That was my next thought, is that he's just replacing Kike.
Okay, so I think that could have made sense. I don't know if you saw this, but around 3 minutes ago, the Dodgers traded Gavin Lux to the Cincinnati Reds.
I did not see that.
Yeah, so that's why I said let's start the episode right now. Okay. Yeah, Gavin Lux has been traded to the Cincinnati Reds.
I saw Blake Harris go, question mark, and then I didn't open it. That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I expect Kike Hernandez to return pretty soon here. I believe right now, not 40-man. I guess that's technically filled right now. We did also DFA Cartaya. No one signed him. So
it wouldn't have been filled. Now there's a one spot availability since Gavin Lux got traded. Because what did we trade him for?
Oh, I don't know.
We traded for players?
We could have traded him. Well, we have to. You can only trade for players and can't trade picks in MLB.
Well, no, I'm saying cash consideration.
Like it could have been that. I don't know. If I were to guess, though, I don't think we're just getting rid of Gavin Lux for cash. Consider he's making like $2 million.
I would assume
a
you're
year
getting
anyway.
prospects, but I also don't know if those prospects
Definitely.
would be on the 40-man roster at that point in
Most
time.
likely not.
Most likely not. So if
Most
that's the case, then you have this open spot, Grant, which just coincidentally times up really, really well with something that
it's
the
gonna
Dodgers
be
would do.
Yeah, no. Kike needs to stay no matter what. Hey, he's a super utility guy. Hey, the Chris Taylor contract, we were not aware that a universal DH was about to be implemented, and that's why that contract was worth it at the time. There is a universal DH. The pinch hitting is not as relevant anymore for NL teams.
Did Chris Taylor even did he make the postseason roster?
Last guy on the bench. He probably didn't play. He didn't have many. I
couldn't remember him ever doing anything.
Oh yeah, no. Hell no. We're trying to win baseball games here, but on the roster, yes.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It was like how Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah.
No, Kershaw was there in the dugout, not on the roster. Kiermaier got left off World Series roster, but Kiermaier was.
Yeah, but I'm also saying CT was on there, but he was just him and Kershaw were both there for the same reason. They weren't doing anything.
Taylor essentially, he did have a roster spot, but him and Kershaw did more for the Dodgers than Chris Taylor.
Yeah, then see, I was going to say though, just coincidentally opens up a spot for something else the Dodgers are doing, not related to Kike Hernandez, Grant. That we partially were talking about
Mike
before.
Just cut. Keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
No, we got you. Grant and I were talking about something before the episode started relating to one Roki Sasaki. Now the posting date obviously is not necessarily right now. It's in a little bit, but the timing on it might just coincidentally occur with something that was going on relating to Roki Sasaki that you brought up to me before we started.
Yeah, so rumors.
That's the point I was making.
Rumors going around that Roki Sasaki has silently signed, but for the sake of the podcast, silently committed to the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is now high school recruiting, folks. Apparently, Roki has silently committed to us. That's not a big surprise. I know for the past month or so, as a collective Dodger fandom community, we've been a little more like, oh shit, is he actually coming or not?
I think it's more so been we've been counting him as a player.
Yeah, I've been.
That was my bigger concern is people have been counting him as a player, and if something happens,
I'm one of
then
those.
It's just well, you and I both are. But if something happens where he doesn't actually end up on the Dodgers, then that's
tragic.
A whole mess. Yeah.
But it's looking likely he's gonna sign to the Dodgers. I don't know any details. I have zero clue. But
I'm assuming really what I'm assuming is going to happen is I think ideally, for the best team availability, Kike is going to take that last spot that we just opened. And then what would it be in a week from now? Roki signs and we'll open up another spot for Roki. But bigger, like that will probably be the end of the Dodgers offseason. Yeah, like that that's most likely what I would expect them to do. Well,
yeah,
the only other thing that they would do is just So
and the rumor right now, I saw this and my heart dropped. I was like, this can't be accurate, but the projected range for Tanner Scott is anywhere from 60 to 80 million. And if that's the case, Tanner Scott, you are not pitching in LA. So yeah.
Well, hey, maybe he will be, just not in Dodgers.
Oh, Angels. Yes, he could be pitching for the Angels in Anaheim, but not for the Dodgers. No, not in Chavez Ravine. You're not getting 80 million to pitch 60 innings a year for us. No. But well, it's
Glassman was getting real close.
Yeah, this is how I
get real close to that.
Right now, if there's something I can, assuming Sasaki's happening, if there's something I could improve about the Dodgers, it would be the bullpen, but I would say right now, probably have a top 3 bullpen in the MLB. I still think for our standards, it could be better. But if we roll out what we have right now, we're winning 106 games.
I think that this would be the last move until spring ball opens. And I think during spring
and
ball,
a lot of things can happen the week of spring training beginning.
And I think when that happens,
right before spring training. So
I think it's still crazy to me that you would think Kike would have been on a team by then, but
I think he's mulling larger offers and he's like, I'm waiting till the Dodgers give me the contract.
Probably.
Like I bet
Um,
Boston has a 2-year, $7.5 million on the
Also,
table for
keep in
him.
mind, like Kike is not like Kike is getting to the end of his career. Like he's been
Oh
around,
yeah. Oh
and people forget
yes.
about that.
Yeah. Yes.
And I kind of more so feel like he might just want to end the career in LA. But
From that angle, 100% he wants to
yeah,
finish here. I
that's
mean, you
that's
just saw
just
the way he embodied, like all of the interviews throughout the playoffs. Like the dude clearly loves being a Dodger. Like he does not want to go anywhere else, especially after that ring. Nah, they're priority number
yeah.
one staying here.
I just yeah, I mean, I don't think that anything else probably will happen till spring training, and I think when that happens, it's probably just more so going to be injury signings. Like somebody's probably going to get hurt, something like that, and also maybe we see some trades happening. Maybe we see um some bullpen trades, just getting some guys. But the Dodgers are always more so of a really beginning of free agency and then trade deadline. In between is very quiet for the most part.
Yeah, and I would say that's just like a general MLB thing. Until like right now is,
Well,
I
unless
mean,
you're the
free
Oakland
agency's
A's,
open.
then it doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, they don't have free agency. Baltimore Orioles, they don't do free
Sorry,
agency.
what? It's not the Oakland A's now. Is it just the A's? They don't have a
Yeah, no,
city. Is
just
that
the
the deal?
A's. Yeah,
Just
no,
the
no,
A's. They
they
dropped.
don't have a city this year. I
It's
believe they're
like
just the Athletics. It's in
it's like this.
Sacramento,
It's like the
but they're
scene
not
in
the Sacramento A's.
It's like the scene in the Social Network where they're having a meeting. Like the face, drop the just
Oh
Facebook. It's
yes,
cleaner. Drop the Oakland, just the A's, just
yeah,
A's. It's cleaner.
no, yeah, it's
That's
it's, it's similar
exactly
to
what that
that.
made me think of. Well,
Yeah.
except the difference is Facebook actually sounds cleaner. Just A's sounds absolutely vile and disgusting. You need Oakland in there.
All right, something just happened, which I've in my whole life as a Dodger or baseball fan, I didn't think this was possible. The Dodgers are acquiring minor league outfielder Mike Sirota and the 37th pick in the MLB draft.
So
I was
can
not
trade
aware
can
you can
trade
trade
picks.
for picks. I
Hold on,
I have
can we
been
fast
told.
back? Can you fast back right to the start of this part of the episode where you say, well, you can't trade picks in the MLB? Can we rewind real quick? Just play that snippet right now.
I,
Just right now.
teams can only trade competitive balance picks, which
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what any of this shit means. What competitive balance pick? I thought the Reds were kind of good. All right. We're getting an outfielder and a pick.
I mean,
Did
if
not
if
know.
if you get picks to balance out how bad your team is with like the good teams, that's how the
Probably
Oakland
shouldn't be
A's
trading
always
those
get.
away.
That's how the A's always get good players and develop them, and then they leave because they just have so many picks.
Oh yeah, actually, we're now
That's
yeah
how.
we're poking holes in Moneyball here. I mean, if
Yeah, we figured it out.
you have 5 times
That's
as
how.
many first round picks as the average MLB team, odds are one of them will hit.
Yeah, that
Pretty
makes a
good
lot more
chance one of them
sense.
will hit. But yeah, that could explain it. That could explain it. But just overall, looking at the current free agent market, there's not a lot of big name guys available. I'd say the biggest name left is probably Pete Alonso. But like Pete Alonso is quite not
I
quite the
don't necessarily.
guy,
Yeah,
or and I guess Bregman would be the other kind of big name guy, but neither of them are going to get a crazy 200 million
Is
plus
Jack
contract.
Flaherty still
Yeah,
still free agent? He's
he
still there.
slept at. I think he's going to get over 100. I don't know where,
Yeah,
but
that
I think
yeah.
he'll get like one or four
White
110.
Sox.
Oh yeah, no, that could happen too. I just don't think they're going to pay anyone that much money. I don't think they're
Probably
interested.
not, but I'm just
Uh,
thinking of teams who just have nothing going on right now because that's probably where he's going to end up.
in terms of like fit, I don't know if they'll do it. They don't sign guys, but Flaherty to the Orioles would make a lot of sense.
That
He'd be
was what
like
I
their
was
number
thinking.
two in their rotation. Like,
Houston also needs a pitcher too, don't they?
uh, they're pretty stacked actually at pitcher. They're about to let Bregman walk. I'd say they probably need to help out the hitting a little bit, but they could
Yeah,
100% be in on him. Like
yeah.
Astros are just smart. Like if they sign Flaherty, he'd probably get redealt out at the deadline. But like, hey, it's nicer to just get prospects than not. So
Yeah, you might as well just shell out a little bit in the meantime.
Yeah, it's like he's not gonna be making that much per year. And it's like he's also a player where a team will gladly give up prospects for him on an 100 million contract because he's like will probably be an ace for another 3 years. So teams would trade for him.
It also
Uh,
depends on the team too. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of factors, but I do think I think he's going to go get a nice paycheck somewhere, and then either to a contender or he'll be shipped back off to a contender in a couple of months.
I mean, shit, I feel like pick 37 is that's a pretty high pick. Like that's I, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest. I don't know if I would have traded something that high for Gavin Lux, but all right,
Hey,
sure,
what I was
Cincinnati.
saying last week, like, Gavin Lux, he would have been the 8 hitter on our team, but he's still probably like the 12th best second baseman in the MLB. Like for our lineup, he's one of the worst hitters, but for the MLB, he's above average for second base play. Like,
Yeah,
so, and hey, the Reds are probably looking at this as a trade for and then extend because he's a free agent after this
I'm
year.
expecting that to be the case. Yeah,
I'd
I agree
assume
with that.
so. And yeah, hey, if Gavin could be the long term like 6 hitter, 5 hitter for the Reds, that'd be amazing for him. No ill will to Gavin from me. I mean, he never forget he hit that sac fly that Judge dropped and started everything. So Gavin
Yeah,
did something. He did something.
yeah. At least it's not Vargas. At least he's not on the White Sox. So that's positive.
Oh yeah, I feel so bad. I mean, a new video every week of him just crying, like literally crying on the field. I was like, oh God, I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know what's going through his mind when he watches the Dodgers or even thinks about us. But yeah, some pretty exciting news. Gavin Lux traded, was a pleasure. It's our homegrown boy. Thought he was going to be the next big rookie called up hitter to come in and produce like Seager, Jock, Belly. Didn't quite live up to that bill, but did win a World Series with us. So, well, two. He was on the 2020 team as well. So, yeah, Gavin Lux will always have a special place in our hearts over here at the Waterboy Pod. But yeah, we're on to bigger and brighter. Hyeseong Kim, 12 and a half over 3 years. That's nothing. And then 2 year club option afterwards if he does well in this little trial stint, if you even want to call it that. But yeah, looking pretty
I mean,
solid. If Tanner Scott's also worth 80, we're not
I will
we're
just say
good.
the Dodgers have to be confident in that signing to trade Gavin Lux before they see anything in spring training like that. So
Yeah. You don't give up Gavin Lux for a prospect and a pick unless you feel pretty good about the roster. So yeah, Roki's definitely coming. Uh Boy, that rotation gonna be crazy. Otani, Yama, Glasnow, Tossin, Roki, and
Snell.
then sorry, forgot about him. He's gonna be the best pitcher on the team. Holy shit, we have Blake Snell.
I forgot about that too the other week. I was looking
Yeah,
through the roster. I
that's
was like, oh
wow.
yeah, right.
We have Blake Snell. Wow. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Just making sure I have this
For
correct
us.
too.
For us, clarify.
Oh
Fun
yeah,
for
no,
us.
not for the
Not
rest
the
of the
rest of the
MLB.
league.
Yeah,
No,
no.
no.
Snell, also a lefty, hard throwing lefty. You don't find many of those in the MLB. Lefty thrower who I believe ranges anywhere from 97 to 98, 96, 98. So you don't see those very often in the MLB. You don't find many flamethrower lefty starters. Uh, so yeah, this is gonna be a fun season. Priority number one though is health. I hope
Yeah,
our,
very,
our
very big priority.
our unsung hero, Elatrosh. I hope he is also
Oh, I thought you were
preparing
gonna say
right
Brent
now.
Honeywell, but yes,
Oh, him
yes.
as well. He's also our unsung hero, but I hope Elatrosh is taking his couple months off because come March, oh, he's
Yeah,
gonna
he's
be
got to get
back
those
working
surgery.
overtime.
The surgery hands got to
I
be
know. I know. We
nice
just
and
did
loose.
Beck's. I know we just did Beck's Tommy John the other week. That's like
You
a
think
nice
Carson Beck
trial
deserve?
off
Are
season.
you actually being
Oh, hell
serious or
no.
like?
No, no, I'm
Because I was
saying
gonna say
that's the
you.
perfect player to
I was gonna
experiment a
say
new TJ surgery on.
I was gonna say you think Carson Beck deserves Neil
No,
Alitrosh
no, no. He's
to do surgery?
practice. No, no, he's
Yeah, there you
practice.
go.
He's a
There you
practice
go.
surgery for him. Well,
Yeah, he's
also, it's just I know the University of Georgia. Like, well, maybe you can help me. Like, if a player gets hurt in a college football game, technically the school is liable to pay for.
yes, the school typically pays for the surgery. Well, it kind of depends on the player, but typically, yeah,
Yeah, but
yes, yes.
like I would imagine. I'm curious. What is that email or call from the University of Georgia Athletic Department to Neil Alitrosh? Like, can you
Well,
do
here's the thing.
Carson's UCL? And he's like, who am I
I
talking?
don't
Who?
know. I don't know.
I have
How
no
it
idea
works
how
at
this
other
works.
schools, but like my assumption is that school itself, if I'm assuming they have a medical school
Yes.
that they do the surgery. They
Okay.
typically, at least from my knowledge, they typically have their own surgeons and stuff on staff that do that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
But I was gonna say, like,
Yeah, regardless though, he's the
hey, you
perfect
know what?
trial
If you're
dummy,
Georgia,
practice dummy.
let's imagine Carson Beck is competent at quarterback to start. But if you're Georgia and you say, "Hey, Carson,"
He came out of the draft last year.
well, no,
Let's do that.
but let's just say just for this point, just follow
Got
with me.
it.
It's like,
Yeah,
hey, Carson, you can either go to the NFL and you can figure out the surgery. Maybe we do it at Georgia. You figure it out yourself. Like maybe get you to come to Georgia, or we'll let you return back to Georgia, play your last year here, and we'll get Neil Alitrosh to do your UCL. Like that's the difference. You either go to the NFL and you got to figure it out. Maybe you get Georgia to do it. Maybe it's comps, or you get return, and by returning they'll get you Alitrosh.
Okay.
Like,
with that,
you got me.
Yeah,
You
now,
got me.
now it's like, all right, coach.
I'll be back.
Sick 'em. Year 6. Go dogs.
Oh,
Roo,
man.
roo, roo. Yeah, no, that it would be though the ideal trial dummy for a new innovative Tommy John surgery. That's the guy you test it out on.
Yeah. Him or Aaron Rodgers.
Crazy to think in like 2006, Tom Brady was the test dummy for the ACL surgery that Alitrosh did. And then it happened to be perfect.
Did Alitrosh do Kobe too? Yeah, that Achilles was also.
He's done every athlete you've ever. No, I know, but
that Achilles surgery was also like guinea pig surgery.
But for his like the two surgeries that made his career were on the two biggest athletes in their respective sports. Like what? I don't know what that PowerPoint presentation to Kobe and Brady was, but they were so on board with the new surgery. I don't know what the presentation was,
on board.
But they were so on board with it. So we got to shout out his intern for coming up with the greatest.
Yeah, no, literally.
The surgery sports world has seen.
The unnamed intern has not done that for the Waterboy pod yet.
Oh,
he's got to do some film review.
Yeah, there's a reason we haven't even negotiated a potential salary bump for the past.
Yeah, the contract extension has not been. There's been no talks.
It's quite literally every January 1st, we just forward over the same email just saying, congratulations, your contract has been renewed for 1 year, 365 days, just every single January 1st, just right in his inbox.
Boom.
Every single January 1st. But yeah, Gavin Lux, no longer with us. Hyeseong Kim, now with us. Roki Sasaki likely going to be joining. Overall, it's an A off season for the Dodgers. A off season.
Oh yeah,
A plus would have been we trade Gavin Lux for Devin Williams, but because we didn't do that, it's an A. However, I was not aware that this Korean second baseman was gonna. I didn't know this guy was available, so
I didn't know he existed until about a week ago.
Same. So yeah, there's that. There.
You can admit it. It's all right. This is a safe space.
Yeah, I just saw a clip recently when we were playing our Korean series last March. That in our exhibition games we played either the Korean national team or one of the KBO teams.
So what you're telling me
is they now talking to this guy Kim.
What you're telling me is they recruited the guy the same way college football teams recruit Australian punters when they do their semester abroad.
Quite literally, yes. Yes. And it's kind of the exact same scenario because Australian punters are 26-year-old freshmen and Hyeseong Kim is a 26-year-old rookie in the MLB. So kind of a correlation there.
Yeah,
kind
hey,
of.
we
very loose, very loose
somewhat
relation,
related.
but
It's the
somewhat.
this is to that as that is to this kind of situation here.
Yeah. I guess somewhat on the same topic, there's been some college football transfer portal nuts stories going on right now.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
college football world, I mean, it's just you can't keep up with it at this point. Like, also just we spoke about this a couple weeks ago, but the day college football red zone gets created.
No, like we said, we had a genius idea that it's not a thing. Like we should go propose that.
Yeah, like I understand with the networks logically it doesn't work. I get that.
Hey, NFL figured it out.
The fans, guys. Like I'm looking at ESPN.
Look, I'm not looking at Fox. What I'm telling you.
I'm not looking at CBS, NBC.
If the NFL figured it out, all the NCAA is going to do, NCAA is just got to monetize their own site, and then they just have all.
I think I just figured it out. We can go one step at a time. Big Ten red zone, SEC red zone, ACC red zone, AAC red zone. Go by conference.
Unfortunately, from the research I've just been doing before the podcast started,
not enough games at the same time for it to be
doesn't work for the MACtion. MACtion just it won't exist for MAC, but every other conference it's good. Every other conference will be fine. MACtion, it will not exist.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna give me like a logical reason there. No. It's just MACtion. You ain't seen that shit, folks. No. Yeah, good luck finding that. You're
just for reference for everybody.
NetStreams is gone. I literally don't know how you find it now. Like
I was scouting a player on Miami, Ohio, and doing that, I was trying to find game highlights of him. And while doing that, I found out that not only the plays exist, but you can't find the game highlights of them. There are only 3 games that they have highlights of this season for Miami, Ohio. So
yeah. It's gonna be a little bit difficult. But yeah,
I don't know what that TV deal is. It's not good though.
Yeah, I'd say college football though. General outlook. It is an interesting time while we're just waiting for the next round to occur. Next episode will be a little bit more passion filled. I'm taking down the state of Texas this weekend. Everybody, I'm walking into Texas and
Grant is on a conquest.
I am going to slaughter the Texas Longhorns in Jerry World in Dallas, and then I am going to put Coldridge to rest in Houston.
Yeah, if there's any time for you to go visit Texas, Grant, it would be this
quite literally. This is the most ideal time. The only time I've ever spent in Texas in my life was during a 1-hour layover on my way to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. I spent around 50 minutes in the city that CJ Stroud built. So I am essentially a Texan, bred, essentially.
Born.
So just with that 45-minute layover experience, I am Texas.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't Houston, so I would wait. I'd wait because then that means that you're an Astros fan. We have a whole nother can of worms that we had.
So I'm not sure where the game is played, but next year Ohio State plays Texas first week of the season. I don't know where that game is going to be played. Yeah, week 1, week 0. Could be week 0, but first game of the year for both teams.
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, it's going to be it'll be a neutral site. But yeah.
I know it's home and home.
Oh, you know it's home and home?
I know it's home and home. I don't know where though. I don't know who gets the home. I know that we're either going to Austin or
unfortunately for you,
Arch is coming to Columbus. It's one of the.
I would much rather have Arch come to Columbus than go see Arch and.
Well, I say that, Texas. But I think Arch is going to leave after next season.
Like transfer or draft?
Draft. But if Arch stays after next season, dude, Arch might put up $1 million on Ohio State at home in 2026. He might put up $1 million.
Yeah, you could delay. You can. Yeah, that's in 2 years from now. You don't have to worry about that right now.
True.
It's fine.
True. 80% of the players will be brand new for that game. We're hitting the portal hard. 2025 summer. But
don't think about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not. Good idea. That's actually a much better way. Much better way.
2 years from now, yeah, you're
Yeah,
fine.
and then in 3 and 4 years from now, we got the Georgia home and home, and then 5 and 6 years, we got the Bama home and home. I don't know why
Yes,
those haven't been canceled. I don't know why the Ohio State athletic department still has those games scheduled.
yes,
Why? What
Grant,
is
the
there to gain?
20 those kids currently are in elementary or not middle school, like eighth
No, for
grade.
that, yeah, for the
For that
2031
game,
Alabama
yeah,
game,
they're in eighth grade.
we're talking about Pee Wee football players right now. So they better start watching tape. We got to get ready,
Yeah,
boys.
them sixth graders.
Yeah, but seriously, why Texas, Georgia, and Bama 6 straight? What are we doing? Why? Those are playoff games, not August games.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on to the NFL. We can move on to the NFL now, and we'll probably wrap up with this. I think that was a good place to
Yeah,
to
but just
segment over.
you're willingly signing up for the chance to get your ass handed to you by the Georgia Bulldogs in 2028.
By the sixth grade Georgia Bulldog team currently.
What are we doing? Why? Like why?
Yeah, what was the name? Juice, the 4-year-old. Hey, he's coming.
Oh, bro, Juice is gonna be my Jeremiah Smith for that game. Another South Florida kid. I know
it's one of the most absurd things I think I've seen. It's just 4-year captain. He legitimately came out the womb with the patch on.
My favorite is like I think Hayes Fawcett may have made that graphic because it was so good. That graphic was
clean.
So
it,
good.
It was clean.
It was
how
so
much do you think
good.
that they had to pay Hayes? It was just like, no, you're asking me to do it for a 4-year-old. I'm doing it for free.
Now Hayes claims he does them for free, and I think it's true. But
he probably
if I was Hayes, I would start charging Pee Wee football kids. I'll make you one, but
I would make them. But if it's somebody who like legitimately is a no name,
yes, okay,
you're paying.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm going under this with the assumption that it's not the kids, it's the dad who's like, post this for if that's the case, you're paying Hayes Fawcett. But if it's a player who's legitimately very good and it's like,
if the 4-year-old contacts you, you just have to do it. If the 4-year-old is the one that's
any 4-year-old, if any 4-year-old has the means of creating a Twitter DM and saying it to you, you have to do it. You have to.
You have to.
That's just a different level of hustle that these new kids.
I did see a post like last week, and it was like legitimately 6U kids with full tattoo sleeves. And it was just a montage of. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, hey, it just means more in the South. What can I say? It just means more. It reminds me of time
one of these 5-year-olds have the Grim Reaper on their entire arm.
It reminds me of the time when I played a high school football game against a team who called their varsity down, and the starting middle linebacker had a full sleeve, and throughout the game he would periodically wave over to a very young kid on the sidelines. You can do with that what you will. I'm not drawing any conclusions off of that fact, but there was a 2 or 3-year-old boy that he was waving over in between plays. So you can do with that what you will. I'm not saying anything of that, but
yeah, just mull over it a little bit. Think about it a little.
Yeah, it was Bryce Young's high school too. So
yeah, sit on that one.
I'm looking at you.
Okay, all right, Grant. NFL. So we'll start with we'll wrap up the quote unquote competition, our picks for the year. And then we'll kind of get more into like last week things.
Yeah, playoffs aren't included in our numbers.
No,
so
playoffs are not included.
We could do it separately. Just playoff record. We could also do that.
Yeah, but we already naturally do it. I just don't think we really keep track of it in the same way. But so Grant, I ended up going 171 and I believe 180, or no, it wouldn't be 184, and 84. So
I was about to say not 184 on the back of that.
No, 171 and 84. Last week I went 9-7. I believe you have beaten me by one game. That one game difference being the Chiefs Broncos. Thank you, Carson Wentz. I am Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the stinker that you just put up, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate that, bro.
I'll be just for that game. I was like, Broncos need this to make the playoffs, and the Chiefs could win this game 1,000,000 to 0, and it does not change a single thing about their NFL season rest of the way in the playoffs. So from those angles, I was like, I'm going to take the Broncos here, and I also just feel like the Chiefs always lose their last week of the
See, that's the
season,
division insight there.
probably because they're
Yeah.
benching guys, but the Chiefs always drop one divisional opponent game every single year. Last year it was Raiders. Like it's every year they'll just drop one.
Was that AOC's like just
No,
heater game?
that was to
That was the
get
Chargers.
Telesco and Staley fired.
Oh,
But
yeah, that's right.
the
Yeah.
Raiders win. I don't remember what they did offensively, but I just remember Max Crosby. The only 2 games of the year I root for Max Crosby is when he's making Mahomes so pissed off. I live for that Max Crosby. That Max Crosby,
Yeah.
I'll get on board. But only 2 weeks of the season, I'm rooting for Max.
Yeah. But I think that this was, no matter what, this was the closest we have ever had. The margins come down to between me and you. And to be fair, we did technically start week 2, but even playing field. You need that 1 week. It's like the week delay. Like
Yeah, we missed like
test
one
the
or two
waters a little bit.
Thursday night footballs in there, but
No, I think we did get all the Thursday night footballs. We just kind of were like, I think the only one we missed was like a obvious game. It was like Ravens Browns or something. We were like,
sort of helped
it's
us.
very very obvious we are taking one of these two, like this team, right? So
yeah, but we're both over.
Same, so
we're both over 60%. That's the
we're
goal.
both over
set out
67.
for-
We're actually both over 67.
No, yeah, we're both up. That is what we are at. But 60%, that is our goal. That is our benchmark number that we try to hit, and we hit that shit weeks ago. I'd say that was locked up probably like week 12. Like if we had just gone 500 from week 13 onwards, I think we still would have got it. But yeah, no, that was an excellent season picking for us. Excellent season picking for us.
Yeah, if you round up, we both hit 70%, right?
Yes. So yeah, I do think though, a new slight rule. We're gonna do a slight inverse moving forward. If either of us are ever 33% or lower, serious punishment. See, I don't know what the punishment, but if either of us ever finish 33% or below,
or you're saying overall the season.
If we ever finish 33% or lower, bad punishment. Bad punishment. I don't think it will ever happen.
I'm trying to. Well, hold on. Let's just think about it right now. Let's think about what these punishments can be. Just hypothetical.
Well, first things first, a wheel will be spun, and the wheel will determine. So there will be 30 punishments on this wheel. But
yeah. I'm trying to just. What would be? You got to do Scott's tots.
How are we going to do Scott's tots? Promise some preschoolers tots. College education. I don't think we could. I don't know.
You wanted a serious punishment. That's as bad as it possibly can get.
Serious as in me and you are harmed by it. Nobody else. Okay.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Let me. Okay. This is my first thought.
Well, also let's clarify. Obviously, if that happened, they would be getting their whatever the promise would be. It would just be you have to go in and tell them they are not, even though they are getting it afterwards. You just have to sit in there and feel the situation.
No. You need to answer at least one question from a previous preschooler who's now 18-year-old. Suddenly, they just age overnight, magically. And you need to answer that kid and tell him why you do not have
the money to pay his tuition.
How much is it to pay for like 30 kids' college tuitions? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You're gonna need a Lincoln Riley buyout to pay for all that. So
that's probably more, honestly.
Yeah, no, at least 60%.
One of those kids gets into like Stanford.
Oh, it's ogre. If one of those kids is going to an Ivy. Oh God.
It's unfortunate.
What if they're going to an out-of-state public school? Oh no. That's like $70,000 for a semester.
Yeah, you're hitting UCLA and you're from Florida. Ooh, have fun with that one.
No. Nah. Yikes. But yeah, NFL season, a successful NFL season picking wise. So let's just talk about quick losers of the NFL season. All those who are fired. So Matt Eberflus, biggest loser of the year.
Yeah.
Biggest loser of the year.
Yeah.
In terms of loser scale, where are we throwing Robert Saleh? Because I think if anything,
He's a
how the
martyr.
Jets
I'm saying
looked,
he's a martyr.
yeah, how the Jets played post him getting fired just showed it was Aaron
Well,
Rodgers.
really, I don't. So here's the way that you look at this. Either should we be happy for him because now he's like freed,
Free.
or should we be sad for him because now he doesn't have a job, and on top of it,
I'd say more so
they
sad.
shouldn't have fired him.
Yeah, disappointed for, sad for. Yeah, because hey,
Because like when you think biggest losers,
biggest
you obviously think legitimate, like they suck, like they are bad. Robert Saleh just personally as a person lost. Yeah, just as not as a coach, as a person.
Even worse, as a human being, he lost. Yeah. Even worse.
Now, this is the only thing I'm going to throw out, Grant. If Brian Flores gets hired out somewhere, Robert Saleh, please come be the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator. I would really appreciate that.
That's just another thing right now. Not every guy can be a head coach.
But
if you were to tell me Robert Saleh is a top 5 DC right now, I'd be like, sure.
Well, but also if you told me right now, Robert Saleh had to figure out how to win games with Mike White, Zach Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers, who is how old is Aaron Rodgers right now? 40 something. Like,
yeah, I would not.
I'd be like, okay,
I'm the age guy. I should know this.
Yeah, you should know this. You are the age guy.
I think he's 41. I
was gonna say 42.
I think he's 41. 41 years old.
Hey, there you go.
I know my ages. Oh yeah, I know ages. I can name any athlete's age. Any athlete.
There you go. That's the statement you need.
How to qualify?
Yeah, you got to clarify. They add the adjectives in there. But yeah, I mean, if you had told me that, I'd be like, all right, makes sense why his teams aren't doing well. Like, dude did not have a quarterback. Also, really didn't have an offense. So, like, that's crazy. I would
looking at Garrett Wilson's like target game log for his first 2 years. It's funny. It's like 19 targets, 6 catches, 40 yards. It's like, oh, what is going on? Like,
no, like I legitimately think Robert Saleh as a coach has been a good coach. I think just he is a one-dimensional coach where he really just is more focused on the defensive side of things and probably leaves the offense to somebody else more so like what Ryan Day does.
There's no problem with that. Andy Reid's offensive guy. KOC's offensive guy. It's fine.
The difference though,
you need to hire though.
Yes. I think in those situations, those experience like obviously I think KOC taught, he deals with the defense just not as much during the game. And I think KOC, obviously, Brian Flores, former head coach, big defense guy.
Yeah, that's Steve also Spagnuolo, a guy where
Spagnuolo, former head coach, very good defense guy.
Spags and Flores, though, you trust them more than yourself. Mm-hmm. You're like,
and when it comes to Robert Saleh,
trust you over me.
Saleh didn't ever get that guy. And if I was him for the offense, true. I'm trying to think like that's a situation where maybe you go out and you say, hey, Pete,
was
Pete Carroll,
OC technically Hackett?
It was Hackett. It was Hackett okay. After. It was Hackett after Rodgers came in, or like maybe that year before. But then it's also, I think the current interim head coach was either the former DC or the OC after he got fired. After Hackett got fired.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Either way, though, Nathaniel Hackett is not the example of a former head coach that you want to remove. If they get fired halfway through their first season, I might not suggest hire them to be your OC. Yeah. Might not be the best idea.
Yeah. No, but it's like Saleh, he can be a DC. The Niners would gladly take him back after last season. Well, isn't he technically on Niners staff right now?
No, he visited, I believe he visited
that's just
somebody's
Staley's dumbass. Sorry, my bad.
That's like insulting Robert Saleh.
Yeah, no, that was very disrespectful to Robert Saleh. Like
very,
Staley,
very disrespectful. Like here's an example, like Doug Peterson would probably be an example of a guy that I would say, hey, hire him to be your OC. Doug Peterson would be an example of that.
Yeah.
Like, or if Mike McDaniel got fired or Brian Dable.
Oh no. Of all those guys, McDaniel's like be OC
That's
anywhere he wants,
legit,
anywhere
literally,
he wants.
literally. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's the yeah no that's quite literally the example of that to do, and it's just really hard. Otherwise, you either have to do that or you have to get a really young guy to come in and do it. Like, the Cardinals OC is a really young guy. Falcons OC is a really young guy. Vikings OC technically is a young guy either way, and if you say KOC or Phillips, and then you've got Ben Johnson's a young guy. I think Green Bay is a young guy. Like, a lot of the best offenses in the NFL are young guys or former head coaches that actually had credible experience.
oh, yeah. I'm looking Ben Johnson, 38 years young. So yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I was just thinking about recently, I was told this stat kind of blew my mind, but if Dan Lanning coached for 13 more years, he would still be younger than Nick Saban when Nick Saban won his first national championship.
Yeah, I guess Nick Saban bounced around a lot, and then did he
Yeah,
go?
his
He
first
was
was at
in.
LSU, first
Yeah, and then
championship. But
yeah, was he at Miami? Was he on the Dolphins before LSU or right after?
I think post LSU,
LSU before
Dolphins for
Bama,
a year or two, wasn't an NFL coach, went to Bama.
because he was also at Michigan State, right? Michigan State was before LSU.
Yeah, Saban was on Michigan State. He was at Ohio State. He was at quite literally every single team you can
Yeah, and he
think
spent
of.
some years in the NFL too, not as a head coach
Browns
too. He
for
was, yeah,
Belichick. He was Belly's DC. Like, yeah.
yeah.
But Saban, like, you know, Saban's dominance, and this applies NFL too, but like the expectations of coaches are like a little out of hand right now. Where like if you think every single head coach you hire, if you expect them all to turn your team around in 2 years, you have unrealistic expectations. But then you see examples of KOC to the Vikings. You see Dan Campbell to Detroit. You see these examples pop up out of nowhere and they find success immediately. And it's tough to not look at those examples. But that Nick Saban stat where Dan Lanning can coach 13 more seasons, still be younger than Saban when he won his first natty. It puts things in perspective. Like,
I
these
also just think,
coaches are
generally
young.
speaking,
Like,
yeah, generally speaking, like you said, the coaches now are a lot younger than the coaches used to be, and I think it's just a testament. I legitimately think it's because of Sean McVay.
oh
To
no,
this, it
that's
is
actually
fully
it.
because
No,
of
Sean
Sean
McVay is
McVay.
actually what started this all, and just
Literally,
the meme picture of Washington Redskins coaching staff in 2014. Like, that's what caused all of this shit.
all of this. No, literally, and I think it's fallen into college, and it's also interesting in college because more college people kind of retain head coach and stuff. Like, it's less likely that you go and get an OC and hire them out, especially in the P4. Like, typically those
Oh
OCs
yeah,
get
no,
hired
you
out to
never see
G5 or
that.
whatever.
You never see that.
But and because of that, I think there's longer retention of those guys. But
Yeah, yeah. NFL, you can get axed like this. Like,
yeah. So, and I think
Doug
that that's
Pearson
also
went to the Super
why,
Bowl, got axed in 2 years. Like,
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Nick
But
Sirianni is going to get axed when the Eagles have a pathetic loss to the Packers this week. Calling it now. Calling it now.
yeah, Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol. But speaking of head coaches, let's have a little fun here, Grant. Let's kind of think about who's going to go where. I want to start this with one thing, man. The Bears, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears
I
are
don't
obviously
want to think
interviewing.
about the Chicago Bears, but
The
yes,
Chicago Bears are obviously interviewing a lot of people. They've been tagged with
I
Ben
swear, I
Johnson, with Brian
every
Flores.
8 minutes today a
Um,
new tweet. Blank
yeah,
has
Grant.
requested
The
interviews with Bears.
I saw they wanted Mike Fat Carthy has been tagged. Grant, the best thing that I have seen regarding the Chicago Bears and their head coaching search, the Chicago Bears have requested to speak with Giants OC Mike Kafka. Now, riddle me this. I
Not
don't think the
familiar with
Giants
Mr.
offense
Kafka.
was I don't think the Giants offense was how do you say productive this year.
Yeah,
Why
that's
in
one
the
way.
world would you want to interview a dude who could not even get his I
All right.
understand Daniel Jones,
I just Googled Mike
Northwestern
Kafka.
quarterback.
Everett, I need you to Google Mike Kafka and just click images. This dude's
Oh no, I
eyebrows
know.
are unreal. This guy, oh, this is a
Yeah,
football
I'm
guy.
aware.
This is a football guy if I've
But
ever seen
you know
one.
what it reminds me of when the Giants hired who's the special teams coordinator that they hired?
You're also referring to a former Minnesota Vikings practice squad quarterback. So I want you to be very
Oh no,
careful with
trust
what
me,
you're
I
about to
know, and
say.
that's why I don't care.
I'm
Um,
kidding.
it's even more sort of the point because our practice squad quarterbacks never been good, never been good. But who? Hold on, I need to find Giants head coaching history because there was one guy that they hired a couple of
Coughlin?
years ago. No, no,
Oh,
no, no,
oh,
no,
oh,
no.
oh, oh,
The
McAdoo.
no Joe
Post
Judge.
McAdoo.
Joe Judge was the guy that I was
All right.
thinking of, the last
This
head
is
coach.
why the NFL is a joke. Like we
But
just listed
that is
off
what
three
this
of the
reminds me
worst
of.
head coaches ever.
That is what Steve Spagnuolo was after Ben McAdoo. Oh, he was interim. He was interim. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it
was about to
was.
say, whoa, Spags. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the line of just the run of Giants head coaches real quick. Tom Coughlin, obviously Super
He
Bowl,
was there
right?
forever.
But Ben McAdoo, Steve Spagnuolo, that interim situation, Pat Shermer, Joe Judge, Brian Dable. See, no coach has made it more than 3 years since Coughlin. I'm just clarifying. No coach has made it more than 3 seasons. So, but I mean, this is what I would say. I believe I don't think Ben Johnson is going to go to Chicago unless Ryan Poles is out or something really gets fixed.
Yeah, I don't
So
think Ryan Poles is necessarily great either.
I
So
saw I what I did see was Ben Johnson obviously wants stability. Trent Balk in Jacksonville not a great GM, but I do think Sean Khan will be like, you want us to fire him? I will give you as much money as you want to come. Just come.
yeah,
And I think that
I was also just loosely thinking about this before we started recording, but Ben Johnson to Jags could make a
makes a lot of
lot of
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Need
So
stability for Trevor Lawrence. Like need to have
I
that guy in place.
I think either way, I think Aaron Glenn's going to end up being the Saints head coach. We already kind of saw reports of that, but I do think that's going to happen. Former player there. They love their former player kind of things. They're going to probably try and make it their version of D'Amico Ryans. Next thing, I think Ben Johnson probably ends up going to Jacksonville. I think the Jets
Yeah, I'm with
honestly
you.
might hire Rex Ryan.
Oh, you
I
think?
think it's possible. I think it's
Okay.
possible.
I think
Patriots.
whoever the Jets
We'll
hire.
circle back there. We'll circle back there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll sort about. I want to say the Jet. I think the Jets are going to hire a guy that we've all heard of. I don't think
Yeah,
they're giving a guy a chance. No. They're going to
I do
hire a
also
dude that you've heard of.
think like I think Patriots are gonna get Mike Vrabel. I think you're gonna get Mike Vrabel. And I
It just
think
makes
that
too much sense. He gets a one up Belichick. He has a quarterback who's actually pretty good. Like, yeah.
yeah, I think that the other thing is so the Jets have talked to Ron Rivera, talked to Rex Ryan, talked to Mike Vrabel. I think they're
Riverboat.
also gonna end up. I think every time that's happened, the owner's gotten fired. By the way, the owner's gotten
Oh,
fired at both the
no.
places.
Ron Rivera's the owner killer. Literally.
Literally. I do think they're also going to interview
Chicago.
Brian.
Chicago.
I do also think they're gonna interview Brian Flores, and I would tag Brian Flores to the Jets.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
Brian
see that
Flores
happening.
should be interviewed by all of these teams. They'd be crazy not
I
to. With all
also
due respect, Everett,
I
but they'd be
believe
crazy not to.
I believe Mike Fat Carthy also is in the last
He's
year
gonna
of
be
his
head coach
contract.
next year.
I don't think that I don't think he's been extended.
Oh yeah,
Yet
no.
by Jerry
I don't,
Jones.
not with the Cowboys, but he's gonna
So
be head coach next
I
year.
think he's gonna be in Chicago.
Back Carthy, Chicago. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be in Chicago. He's gonna be there, or Grant
Oh,
Woody
that
Johnson.
pardon my take.
Woody Johnson is going to talk to Aaron. Aaron's going to stay, and Mike Fat Carthy's going to New York.
I need that to happen, and then
I,
run it
I
back
need
with
it to
Hard
happen.
Knocks. Run it back.
Literally,
Like,
legitimately, I need that to happen.
can they also trade for Jordan Love? Oh, so and then sign Brett Favre as quarterback coach. Let's just do it all. Let's just go through.
I'm just thinking though, because the last year or two, we've kind of seen some no-name guys get hired, and everybody's kind of like, who? The one guy name-wise that I kind of would be looking at like that is Cardinals OC. I think it's Drew Spitzing or something like that.
Yeah, keep going.
That's kind of the guy that I've heard a lot about, kind of on the DL.
Drew Petzing?
Yeah, being on the DL, like he is a really young guy, innovator. I also would he's kind of like similar to Joe Brady, except I think that for whatever reason,
yeah,
he might get job before Joe Brady. So I'm just more curious of what's like going to happen. Also, Josh McCown, for whatever reason, has a head coaching interview. Don't understand that much with the Jets, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, one thing I'm thinking about.
Don't worry, Giants fans. Mike Kafka will still be in New York next season. Don't worry, Mike Kafka will be there. So
I'm not saying this guy's getting a head coach stint in the NFL. And I bet there's a college team that will offer him a head coaching job. But it's kind of been confirmed that Chip Kelly was looking around for jobs mid-season this year at Ohio State. Do you think there's any chance he could be OC in the NFL?
OC?
Yeah, no. OC, not head coach.
Probably not. Like I think the only way he'd become a coordinator in the NFL is if college head coach, probably. But
he's gonna be a head coach next year in college.
I think that in the NFL, the only way he'd probably become a coordinator is if one of those older guys becomes a head coach. And really, for me, that kind of would just be like Mike McCarthy.
I have zero clue if they have any history, but I just assume they do.
Know. But that just really would know each other. And it also doesn't make sense because McCarthy is an offensive guy. But
yeah, and that's really hard to like remember
for reference.
Fat, so you assume defense.
But just that honestly is the stereotype. But him and Andy Reid, everybody else, like
no, like literally Andy Reid. If like I judge these based on I show it to my roommate who doesn't watch football. I show it like, what do you think of this guy? Like if I show him a picture of Andy Reid, he'd be like, really fat, gotta be defensive line, right? Like, no, he's like the most innovative passing coach in years.
Who is the guy from the Browns Hard Knock that every single time we go, and is
yes, that's
that guy.
Those are the O-line coaches. Those are my guys. I love just old O-line coaches, super fat, like, and my favorite part is we're doing team sled drills, and it's that massive sled where they have like the five,
like the 6-man sled,
and the coach is just standing there to say set hut for like 40 minutes straight. All they do, they just sit there getting pushed around by their linemen all day.
Yeah, the thing with the Chip Kelly though, I believe his last stint in the NFL, which I wasn't aware of this, he was only on the 49ers for one season, right?
Oh, I knew that.
I honestly could have sworn that he had been there for longer than that. Like it felt longer than that. But
because it felt he was not there.
Because of that, I really don't think. And I really don't think he's going to come back. And the other person you got to remember, Cliff Kingsbury is still around, still thinking about getting a job.
Like I don't think he'll get a head coaching this cycle, but
probably not. But it's a name to watch. I bet he gets some interviews.
In 2 cycles, one of these jobs that we think safe will be freed up. Like, hey, I'm just saying a name. I don't believe it. I'm just saying it. But like, if you told me the Arizona Cardinals head coaching jobs open in a year from today,
I wouldn't be surprised. Not the bus.
I don't. We love the bus here on this podcast. I'm just giving an example. But if you were to tell me that job's open,
I'll tell you right now. 2 years from now,
the Dolphins will be open in a year.
Titans job will be open. Dolphins job will be open. By the way, Dolphins just need to blow it up. But Titans job will be open. Dolphins job will be open. Colts, everything is going to be open. The Jets.
I think Steichen can get a new head coaching job though. Maybe I don't know why
Steichen probably can get somewhere else. But yeah, somehow I think Panthers job's going to be safe though. Canales 2 years from now, he's going to be safe.
Hey, Bryce has played the past 6-ish, 7 games.
Hey, good. I think Buccaneers job's going to be open 2 years from now. And it's not going to be because they're not winning. It's going to be because they can't go far.
I think Bowles is a guy that you DC though.
Oh, DC, yes, 100%.
All right, just
That's what he
making
was
sure.
under Bruce Arians too.
Yeah, no, just making
Um,
sure we're on the same page here. But yeah,
Brown's job will be open.
Bengals job better
Rams
be open in a year. If it isn't, I
Rams
feel
job
bad for
maybe
my
because
Ohio
Sean
State Bengals
McVay
boys.
retires. Rams job maybe Sean McVay retires. Like
That,
shit,
but it's
it's
like
always
it's
going to be a question.
okay. The three coaches, I'd actually say four. I'm throwing KOC in there too. I think there's four coaches where it's their job until they decide they're done with it. Kevin O'Connell, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan. Those four have those job until
I'd throw Matt
hot
LaFleur in
take.
there.
Kind of hot take. Of the four coaches I just listed, the one most likely to be fired by their own team is Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or traded. Let's get into that. By the way, let's get into that.
Now, is Sean Payton head coaching trade? Is that the only trade that's happened? Head coach trade recently?
Well,
There's
the
got to
only
be
other one
another.
is John Gruden.
Oh, are those literally the only two?
I'm pretty sure those are the
Oh,
only two
okay,
in like modern
okay.
history, at least in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, here's
Was
the thing:
Gruden technically traded to the Raiders because he was technically part of a team?
was he traded from Raiders to
I
Bucks or
don't.
Bucks to Raiders?
I'll be honest. I like kind of remembered
Whoever
he
he
got
won the
traded, but I
second
don't
Super
remember.
Bowl with, whoever he won the second Super Bowl with, is the team he was traded to.
All I know is he has a Bucks Super Bowl. I think that's his only Super Bowl.
So I believe he beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl win or
Yes,
whatever
yeah, yes.
to win it. So
But it
I think it
was
might have been the Bucks. He might have been traded to the Bucks.
okay. It's traded to the okay, okay. Because I was like,
Whatever.
is
Yeah,
there a
but
chance? Because hey, our childhood, he was on Gruden quarterback camp. Was there a chance he was still technically under contract to the Bucks during that whole time?
well, I think there was an issue. There was something going on when he was coming back because it was the same thing with Sean Payton, where his contract technically was still
Yeah,
accumulated.
that's
Because
where I'm
it was
thinking.
like it was interesting because it was the whole thing when Gronk came back or Marshawn Lynch came back. They were still under contract for
Yeah,
weird things, and I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's too much financing
yeah.
stuff for
We
me in that
who
capacity.
cares?
But this
Kevin
is what this
O'Connell
is.
will not be traded.
Yeah, first of all, that. But second of all, every offseason, I swear,
Crazy. What?
there is something that people like to talk about with the Minnesota Vikings. Every single every single offseason. Last
It
year
was
was Justin
last year.
Jefferson. Justin Jefferson
Oh,
getting
oh
traded.
yeah. I was thinking
Then
Kirk, but it wasn't really
they
Kirk.
tried to start it with JJ McCarthy, and then that
Yeah. No,
quickly went down.
I mean, when
Also,
I
Sam
just hear
Darnold
that,
playing like crap kind of helped with that. But then when that went away, they're like, all right, next thing, next man up. What's the next thing we can come with? Oh, training for Kevin O'Connell. Let's do that. By the way, never will happen. Will
like,
never happen.
uh,
If you just want a reason, let's put it this way: the Wills care so much about the Vikings and the team, they spent $2 million to get fans to go to Detroit for face value tickets. They spent $2 million on tickets to resell them for less, so
good
that
owners.
their fans could afford them.
We have good owners.
They bought them for $1,000 a piece and sold them for $200 grand.
That's putting your money where your mouth is. Hey,
Yeah.
got to tip the cap.
Unfortunately,
to that.
Sam Darnold did put his money where his mouth was because he played like a $10 million quarterback. But yeah, I mean, it never not going to happen. This is also the other thing. When any coach has had success, why is it now that you start talking about Kevin O'Connell? Like, first of all, that makes me feel great about my head coach, by the way, because they're not talking about D'Amico Ryans or Dan Campbell, like, or Matt LaFleur like that. None of those guys, not Sean McVay. But Kevin O'Connell, they're like, hey, we really want Kevin O'Connell. But of course, it's just the Lions. Like that's the other thing. I was like, hey, why is not if this is what you want for Kevin O'Connell? Why is nobody calling Detroit about Dan Campbell? Why is this the first time I'm hearing about somebody wanting to trade for a head coach like that that's having success? Like, why does it have to be the Vikings? Because of course it's Vikings.
Yeah, I'd say just since we started this podcast, I've by nature watched a lot of Vikings football games, and you guys are a good team. I don't really know what else I have to say. Vikings are a pretty
But
good
still, like
team.
even those other good teams, that other good teams with other good coaches, you never hear about those coaches being sought after like that. I wouldn't put Mike McCarthy in that category.
Kevin O'Connell's son of a former FBI agent. How come no fan bases
It's never been talked about.
How come no one's brought up Kevin O'Connell hiring a private investigator? Why is it just Ryan Day and his brother? Keep it consistent, folks. Keep it consistent.
But all right, I know there was like let's talk about the Vikings game, bro, because obviously that's it. heartbreaking for me. The game falls squarely on Sam Darnold, Grant. The whole reason the Vikings lost is really on Sam Darnold. Kevin O'Connell did his job. Kevin O'Connell schemed guys open. And I get it. Maybe Kevin O'Connell could have worked better to calm Sam Darnold down and whatever, and that's his job. But every other part of the job that was called for, he accomplished it. For the fact that Sam Darnold could not throw the football is not on Kevin O'Connell for the sole fact is Kevin O'Connell is not a puppeteer. He is not pulling the strings in Sam Darnold's arm to release the ball at different points. I'm sure if Kevin O'Connell could have played quarterback, he probably would have came in for Sam Darnold at that point in time. But defense was lights out until they were just kind of like tired because the offense was doing nothing. Will Reichard was on the field not great. Will Reichard was not great, but there's other things going on. I'm not going to beat up him.
He's not the reason.
Justin Jefferson getting open, Jordan Addison getting open, Jalen Naylor getting open. Aaron Jones was doing well. Cam Akers ran for 35 yards, got in the red zone. The Vikings had 3 field goals, 4 red zone trips, only ended with 9 points out of that. And on top of it, there was a wide open pass on one of those drives that ended with a field goal. Sam Darnold had a butt naked, I think it was Jordan Addison, top left side of the field, would have been a touchdown. Didn't throw that way, overthrew somebody deep. I don't remember who it was, but on the opposite side of the field.
All right, I think I'm referencing the play that you just brought up, but the way you just described it,
the deep throw,
not that play. No, you're on like the 8-yard line.
Yeah, those were one of those 4 drives. So the biggest ones, there was the biggest plays that I kind of have talked about regarding the ones I was tweeting about regarding those drives where they had one where Jordan Addison was kind of on a delayed, almost like a wheel route, and he was wide open, kind of on the 2, and then went up and was still open, and Sam Darnold threw it to the left side of the opposite side of the field to Justin Jefferson.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that one. So I remember that play. It was like a little out and up. I don't even know.
Out and up would be the way I describe it. Yeah.
But I remember watching that live, and when he was just making his first little out cut, I was like, he's wide ass open.
He's wide open.
You need to throw the ball right here. And I remember seeing Darnold look that way. And I
remember stared at him.
No, I remember he's staring at him. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why the hell is he not throwing the ball right now? But then, as I watched the play unfold, he pumps towards Jordan. And Jordan has yet to look back at Sam Darnold while this is all going on. He's making his out cut, and he doesn't even look back for the ball. He's running his little, I don't even know.
Well, he did have his head turned when he made that first cut. He looked at Sam when he made that first cut. He had his head looking that direction.
Well, the way I was looking at it, it seemed like the play was, even though it looks like an improv route, because I've never seen like a out and up route in the red zone. Like, if that was the route, I'd just be confused. I'm like, you have such little space to run that. I don't get why they call that. But it seemed to me like that was the route called, and that's why Darnold didn't throw it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand the route. You have such little space to run that. And
this is the first thing. What I don't understand is, first of all, from what I remember and what I saw, Jordan Addison did look that way. Like right when he made that first cut, he's wide open. All right. If you're Sam Darnold, you got to make that throw. You throw it to him. It hits him in the head because he didn't turn around. At least you made the throw. Okay. You don't throw it to the opposite side of the field. Next up, that up route, I kind of thought it more of like a fade because you're going to run out of room. It was kind of a fade. You're going to run out of room when you're running across like that. And obviously the defenders are drawing down to you. So if you're looking straight and you're running kind of across the field like that, if you just cut up, you make that turn, you're now going to be open like for a fade off of like the 2 or the 3. So it's kind of, my opinion, was more of a 2-step route where they had the first.
Oh, no, I get what you're saying. The thing though is that, like, I don't exactly remember, but the Lions seemed like they were off, and that out was just open. Just boom, it was one step out, plays over, touchdown.
That was open, but he was also open on that back cut to do the fade.
I think, but like if I remember this correctly, like it was a soft cut. Like there was a Lions defender like two.
Oh, he was coming down. Yes, on the right side, he came down.
But I think just in Darnold's mind, he was just like.
Well, generally speaking, Darnold was playing so unbelievably.
That was awful. It was crazy. Game. It was the worst I've seen.
The one thing, the Rams the Rams, the Jags, the Lions, and the Cardinals all did against the Vikings was they put
Pressure.
so much pressure on Sam Darnold. The problem is, who's the one team that the Vikings play next, Grant? It's the Rams. It is the only other team that the Vikings lost this season. And I can guarantee you they're going to put as much pressure as physically possible on Sam Darnold, because the one thing that's been shown on film to this point is Sam Darnold can make mistakes, whatever. But when you pressure him, he, no matter what, he cannot play well. So that needs to be fixed. And by the way, free agency, you got to fix the interior of that offensive line. I don't care if Sam's back, Daniel Jones is starting for 6 weeks, JJ McCarthy is starting week 1. That's got to be fixed. By the way, JJ McCarthy, I know he's been rehabbing, but he's looked like he was a little small for JJ McCarthy. So
yeah, people were. I'm not buying anything into that. Don't
no, it's because he's been
shit.
rehabbing. He's going to be fine in 8 months.
It's fine. It's like that's what
But
people are going to come out of. I mean,
that game
he's not
falls
Bryce
squarely on
Young
Sam
short.
Darnold.
Like it's okay.
And the one thing that I'm going to say is, I already was saying on this podcast, there's no reason for them to re-sign Sam Darnold. And obviously, this game, everybody was like, "Oh, well, now maybe the Vikings can afford him, whatever." It's not going to change anything. That one game's not going to change anything. In general, there's no reason for the Vikings to sign him. I think this also just demonstrates that there are faults to everything, no matter who's at quarterback. And in general, like this is and has always been JJ McCarthy's team going forward. So, but Grant, the
I'd
last
say
thing
my last little closing thought on Vikings I just had was that, like, Kevin O'Connell, help me out here. The quarterbacks that he's coached in the NFL is Sam Darnold, Kirk. Is it just them two, or did he have someone before Kirk?
on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, keep in mind, he was on the Rams before, and
on the Vikings.
Kirk, Sam Darnold, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins.
Okay, Dobbs were actually good examples. Like, he's not had.
Oh, and what the Jaron Hall.
Oh yeah, but he hasn't had a world beater back there. Okay, like he's never had a world beater at quarterback, and the Minnesota quarterbacks over the past 3 years still look elite. Like Kirk Cousins, people always like to make fun of him for his like primetime records, but like on the Viking, Kirk Cousins looked like very good at football. And if there's one dude other than Andy Reid or McVay, I guess, that you trust with a new quarterback, it is Kevin O'Connell. And if there's anyone out there truly believing JJ's going to fail, I don't know what you're looking at. Like, it's the most ideal like, I'm not even saying this because you're on the podcast. Like, if you're just objectively looking at what is a great starting spot for any quarterback in the NFL, first thing you look at, in my opinion, is going to be coaching. That's first thing. Organization, stability, checked. The next thing you look for, in my opinion, I would say weapons, but I'm actually going to say O-line, because Bo Nix just put up a QB 10 season because the Denver Broncos were top 3, both blocking metrics. That's why Bo Nix looked good. It wasn't Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims.
Time to make those reads.
I love Mims. I got him in Dynasty. But if you're telling me it's Sutton and Mims are world beater, no, they aren't. Like, it's the O-line, which gets a rookie quarterback to play serviceable football from the get.
I'll also say this.
Vikings have the best tackle duo in the NFL.
You know what you're getting out of Sam Darnold. Like, you know what you're getting out of JJ McCarthy is the one guy in this situation where it is unknown. It could be bad, right? It could be bad. This could be Daniel Jones, right? Ironic. But you also are putting your faith in Kevin O'Connell to develop him, because who knows? He could be playing, not actually, but he could end up playing like Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. And that's because we haven't seen him. KOC hasn't developed a quarterback from the ground up. We've seen all these other guys, and we know that they're not Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. But if you want to get one of those world beaters, you got to start with somebody that's new. You got to develop them, because you don't know what they are.
I'm saying
JJ McCarthy, world beaters are in a situation where you can't pay for them.
JJ McCarthy
is the only way that you can get that.
I'm saying, I think though, like, hey, you know what I think about Michigan people, but like, I'm pretending that didn't exist. I pretend JJ McCarthy went to Wyoming. Like, he has insane physical traits. Like, the one thing that I personally cannot get over was miles per hour and how he was like second in the combine behind Joe Milton. That to me That, I don't know why that really stuck out to me, but that really stuck out to me. And it's like he has raw str- strength is the term I'm using, but I'm not saying running you over,
JJ
but
McCarthy
arm
also
strength.
throws one of the fastest through
No,
one of,
that's
if
what I'm
not the
saying. No, that's
fastest
what I'm
ball
saying.
that.
Like
Oh my,
miles per hour, like he can generate a lot of velocity on his throws, which that opens up the playbook when now on your 8-yard crossing route to Jay Jetta's, it's now bulleted in there instead of a Kirk little lob. Well, now the
yeah.
whole playbook is opened up. Now we can throw those. Oh, shit. Yikes. A lot of new routes have been opened up, but it's like he's about to walk into at minimum the second best tackle duo in the NFL. Lane Johnson and Mayaga on Philly. I'll give him that. But Darisaw and Brian O'Neill, excellent. Sure, maybe some problems on interior, but those are the most.
Yeah, so coming back off injury too
Yeah,
is not helpful, but yeah.
interior is the most replaceable offensive line positions, so they can fix that quickly. Tackles, not so much, but also weapons. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, statistically is the best wide receiver this year, sure. Justin Jefferson does shit I've never seen in my life, specifically the last 3 weeks. The amount of Jamar Chase has dropped 3 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks. Justin Jefferson would never. He would never drop a touchdown. And
Gotta get a chance to catch it first too, but yeah.
Hey, it's 1A, 1B, and then it's a steep drop off to number 2, which is probably Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. And then at 5, CD / AJ Brown. But
Nico
LSU
Collins.
boys, Nico Collins up there. The LSU boys are unreal. As an Ohio State fan, you're going to hear it from me directly. This is coming from the man who's just watched Jeremiah Smith live in person. LSU is wide receiver you. You can't even debate it. You cannot debate it, how good their receivers do in the NFL. Brian Thomas is doing this shit with McCorkle slinging him the football. What else do I have to say? Malik Neighbors is doing this with Drew Lock. I mean,
and Tommy DeVito and Tim Boyle.
Low key probably will end up being the most important offseason move the Dodgers made this year was extending Tommy Edman for 7 years. He's probably going to be hitting for us till 20.
I was gonna wrap up the episode asking who should trade for Tyreek Hill, but we can save that for next episode. That'll be a fun little starter for us.
Oh yeah, he's out. Yeah,
he is out. He changed his profile picture to Antonio Brown. Peace out, halftime, whatever.
You know what? I understand what I'm about to say, and I might regret it deeply, but let's just do Chiefs, take him back. I can live with that. I'm okay with Tyreek back on the Chiefs. That won't ruin me. If Garrett Wilson got traded to the Chiefs and then extended, that would ruin me. That would kill me. That'd be 6 years of excellence. Tyreek, 1 year of greatness. Divas right back in it. Going to be a disaster going into next 2 years from now. But I can do 2025, 26 Tyreek back on the Chiefs. I can do that.
Yeah, the one thing I did see linked to him was 1, Ravens, 2, like some random team.
3, that scares me a lot more.
3, Chargers.
Yeah, people are floating us around.
Maybe it was Cardinals was the second team, and then Chargers were the third one.
Now, if you went to the Cardinals, that would be one of the most unique passing offenses to defend in the NFL. Marv, McBride, and Tyreek.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to say the least.
Lot of creativity there. I would have Trey McBride running all my underneath shit. Tyreek gets the double team on the deep post, and then you hit Marv 18-yard dig right over the middle. Boom. That's the offense. You're welcome, Arizona. You're welcome. But yeah, that's I think that's gonna do it for this. Next episode will be a bit more exciting. We got playoffs to preview that, and
big time.
I didn't quite realize that we could have finagled this 5 seed. I was just operating under the assumption Steelers would pick up another game, but I am now, for the first time in a while, pretty
Oh,
confident
you
my
feeling
Chargers are
good?
going to
Feeling good?
win a playoff game. Well,
You're going to say a Super Bowl.
I
I
was
was
about
like,
to say that.
what?
Whoa, no.
Calm
I feel
down.
pretty
Calm down.
confident we're going to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
This is a
The other thing
bad
that I did
place,
see
but
was what was ironic was I saw a question like, "Hey, if the Rams and the Chargers both have to play in the conference championship game, what happens?" And then the next comment was, "It's ironic that you've and however many years this is the first time you've seen this question because the Jets and the Giants have had this situation for
oh
however
shit,
long.
I
Now
totally
this is the
forgot.
first time. This is the first time the question's been asked. It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
something about the Jets and the Giants.
The
Just
other
by the way,
thing is that I'm going to go so far as say it will never happen where the
no.
Chargers and Rams are both higher seeded in the conference championship games hosting. There's no way both teams will be
or they're just
hosting.
hosting in general. I mean, it is possible somehow if this offseason the Chargers win and then the Rams win, like it is possible that they could. The secret events would really have to play out a certain way, but it
If
isn't.
that were to ever happen, I'd be stunned. Hosting conference championship games. There's no
Yeah.
way that'll ever happen.
But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at Everstakes and at Waterboy Grant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to check us out there so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok. Off-season wish list will be starting soon, by the way. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.